sense? Makes sense, right? So, not just, what feels good to me or what sounds good to me, like there's one guy that I know, he owns an audio company. He only sells audios of the reciter that he likes. That's you. You don't like this reciter. But there's 100,000 other people that like this reciter. You're only going to sell them what you like? So, everyone has different tastes. So the same thing, I like this pamphlet, and Ziyad liked it, and Ahmed liked it, and Ahmed liked it, and Ahmed liked it. So khalas. Let's put it out. No. Let's get other people to see, non-Muslims, how do they feel about it? So that's what I'm saying. When it comes to da'wah, sometimes we forget about studies. There's a sister, got a PhD in something related to statistics. Alright? Look at the field, statistics. And there was a non-Muslim who read a copy of the Quran. He was offended by one statement in it, in the translation or the explanation. And she started going around campus telling people, don't ever give this copy out to non-Muslims. It offends them. It was just one person who was offended, but she kept walking around saying it offends them. Now, that copy has actually been in circulation for about 15 years. It's one of the most popular. Many people came to Islam because of it. And very few, if any, people have complained. Now this one guy now, after 15 years of circulation, has complained. She's saying, let's take it off the shelves. Because of one person. And she studies statistics. What happened to science suddenly? With da'wah, you want to go on barakah. We don't want to go on study, science, research. We want to roll on barakah. And lately we've been running on fumes of barakah. So let's do some study. Okay, one more scenario. I don't know if we did this in Power of One. Did we do it? No? Okay, da'wah exercises? No? So basically, there's one person who called me up. He said, look, from now on, I'm not doing any da'wah like this, but I'm going to be organizing Islamic nasheed concerts. And that will be my da'wah to non-Muslims. So what's your argument here? Or maybe you agree. What's your argument? Someone tells you, from now on, my da'wah is organizing Islamic nasheed conference. I'll bring, native bika, and they'll sing and whatever and all that, and then people will become Muslim. Yes, sir.
Have you verified that all the nasheed artists what they're saying is correct and their methods are halal?
Okay, fine, all right. But that's assuming that if their methods are correct and their voices are halal and their words are halal, then that would probably be a good da'wah technique. That's assuming that.
How do you plan to separate between brothers and sisters?
He says, okay, I'm going to have barbed wire and electric fence. Doesn't matter. Yeah?
Music.
Nah?
Music.
Okay, but you're all assuming that if there's no music, this will work. Yes, sir?
Is your target market listening to the sheep?
You must be, what are you, man? MashaAllah, target market and stuff. I like it. We need to talk during lunch. Good. Yes, sir? Yes?
Oh, I was going to say the same thing, actually.
Oh, I need to talk to you too. Yes.
What makes you think that is effective way of giving da'wah?
Okay, we need to establish that first. What makes you think this is an effective way of giving da'wah? And that was, you said it in a very nice way. I actually just said, I don't think he will become Muslim because of an Islamic nasheed concerts. He said, and I'll get to you, because now we got to the point that, you're probably right, but I'm telling you, this is what happened in the story. That's what I said to him, and this was his answer. Now I need you to answer this part. He said, no. One time, I was at an Islamic nasheed concert, and when the concert was over, a guy got up on stage and took his Shahada. So it does work. It does bring people to Islam. Now, respond to that. Let me try sisters first. Yes, sister in the back.
Basically, they were looking, they're taking a context.
Mm-hmm.
The whole purpose of it that he wanted to do is to have it for a da'wah, whereas da'wah is just like a nasheed concert. So they're focusing on they're taking this the wrong way.
You're right, but he's going to come back and argue with you again. Look, the guy took his Shahada after the concert, so I'm going to prepare concerts from now on, invite different speakers, and that's it. Sister?
How do you know that he took the Shahada because of the concert?
Excellent. Sister's a scientist. Not that you were wrong. Everybody was, but the question was, how do you know that he became a Muslim because of the lyrics in the song? How do you know that? That is what they refer to as one data point. You just see one data point. You don't know what happened before it. First of all, let's go all the way back. First of all, okay, go ahead, sister.
I was just going to say it's just one person, and then to your earlier previous point, you don't know the success of it.
Okay, Jazakallah khair. But excellent. But like now, let's go back to what the sister was saying. So, how do I know what happened to this guy to get him up on stage? First of all, let's go backwards. Do non-Muslims usually flock to concerts if they say, native Bika is coming to town? All right. Does anybody know who that is? So, do they just come and flock to these concerts? So, what will you think? Why is that non-Muslim there then? What might have happened? Take a guess. Yeah?
Maybe he was already Muslim. That was just his public shahada.
Possibly. That's also very true. And sometimes there are some of those fake shahadas. I know because I've seen some of those. The guy took shahada last week, but we have an event today, so come and do it on stage. And all the sisters are crying and stuff, but he was already been Muslim, And we're all like, yeah?
His friend brought him. He's Muslim.
There you go. Most likely he was invited by somebody. It's not like Michael Jackson came to town. I had the children. I mean, it's not. I can't resist the lie. But if that guy really did become Muslim, I already told people I'm going to book a flight to, and I apologize to him. Anyway, so what happens when non-Muslims don't typically run to these concerts? They don't know these groups, so most likely we can assume his friends probably invited him to that concert. Come with us. Now, do we know what he went through before coming up on stage? Maybe he sat with them, read half of the Quran. Maybe they took him to Islamic events, fundraising dinners. They took him to the masjid. They took him to the basketball game in the masjid. Maybe he went through so much before coming up on stage and finally saying the Shahada. So as the sister said, you just saw one data point. You don't have enough information to assume that he became Muslim because of the lyrics. And plus it's a huge, huge concert. A lot of posters, a lot of advertising, a lot of money to get one Shahada every time. You could put that same effort and money into something and get you a lot more people to become Muslim. But to everyone, you see what's wrong here? Yeah? Yes, sister.
Maybe consent wouldn't allow people to become Muslim or wouldn't encourage people to become Muslim. But from my point of view, it may affect some of them to read about Islam later and know about Islam later, and maybe at some point later they become Muslim.
Very true.
The direct relation that to have an event and so everyone become Muslims wouldn't work, but maybe it will affect some of them to read more or to know more.
Jazakallah khair. I like what the sister is saying because she is not, what's the word, like crossing out, like
Negating.
yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, she's not, putting aside the possibility that it could be something that works, or it could be something that it's one step or might catapult them into studying about Islam. That's true, but in order to say that, we need some kind of research. I don't have any problem if someone comes and says, look, we've done research, and actually brings, every country will bring 6 people from the street into Islam. Great, at least now you have research to support it. Don't just say, well, once I saw a guy take his Shahada because of this, and let's all do that. No. Okay, great. So we're going to move on a little bit, but the whole point, it was an important point, was let's study, let's see. And a lot of times there's just a guess, and we all go on that guess. There's one popular speaker, and I won't mention his name, very popular da'iyah, and he has a rule that in order to give da'wah, you need to be, he used to have this rule. In order to give da'wah, you need to be an African American. So please, all of you who are from, or Arabs or from the Indo-Pak region, get out. So we made up this rule. We went this was a da'wah event. We went to DC. I think I told you this story last month or something. We all went to DC, give some da'wah. DC predominantly African American. So one Arab brother, he made up a rule suddenly, and everybody liked it. He said every group of 2 has to have a black person in it. Remember the story? So black people became a very hot commodity at that moment. And everybody was trying to grab a black guy. He's my partner. So in the end, there were 2 brothers, there were 2 Arabs, who didn't have a black guy in their group. and they had a thick Arab accent, and they were standing there complaining, "We don't have a black guy in our group. We don't have a black guy in our group. But what are we going to do here?" Yeah, I mean, when the guy said this rule, I just let it go. I said, listen, just go out and call people to Allah. You know, when we reconvened at the end of the day, each group had, effectively gotten one Shahada. Their group got 2. The only group that got 2. And they didn't have a black guy in their group. So people make up these rules. There's no studies, just gut feeling, running on barakah fumes. But that's not how we want to do things. Whatever you do, we want to base it on something. And sometimes you might base it on nothing, but it's your experiment. Yeah? And I don't have any proof to say this might work, but I'm going to try it as an experiment. If it doesn't work, I try something else. I'm not saying don't be creative with that one, right? Be creative, but don't make up these rules. We can experiment and test these rules, but we don't bank on them 100%. Okay, so how much time do we have, just so I can pace myself? 45? Wow, okay. You need a break maybe? We'll take a break for 5 minutes? Great. If anyone, none?
Just I think we'll go.
How about this? If someone feels they need to take a break, to refresh wudu or go to the restroom or get something to drink, feel free to go ahead and do that, okay? So, the do's and don'ts of da'wah, let me see which ones am I going to go over. Maybe we'll go over all of them quite quickly. You have to be patient. So important. They go together. Da'wah and patience. Because if you're impatient, you might be the reason that someone never ever becomes a Muslim. You could be that reason. You don't want that, ever. And a lot of times people become impatient like that. And they say things that offend people. I remember one time someone, a Hindu, came to the da'wah table. He said, "I'm never going to become Muslim." I said, "Why?" He said, "I was here yesterday, and some of the people at this table insulted me. And they said, what are these statues and gods and fake gods that you're worshipping?" So they insulted him. So he said, "I'm never going to become Muslim." Imagine that. We already have enough things to deal with on the Day of Judgment. Now you got a list of people who said, "Well, I never became Muslim because he was rude, or he insulted me, or he lost his school." So be patient. You don't want to be the reason someone never enters into Islam until they go to their grave. So be very patient with people. And you know that some people have misconceptions. Some people believe what's on TV. Some people, are rude by nature. You will encounter those people. When you're prepared to be patient to encounter problems, it makes it easier for you. Yes, sir.
What if the person that you're talking to, they start cursing Muhammad and Allah?
What if that's the case?
Do you is there do you still have to remain patient?
Does that happen here?
Yes.
Yeah? Okay. Sure, huh? All right. Let me ask you this. What can you do within the law here? Because if we're in Sudan, I know what I'll do. We'll talk it over. What's the problem? We'll use sign language. So anyways, the 5 evidences, right? I always teach my students about the 5 evidences. If you disagree with me, I've got 5 evidences for you. You're writing them down. MashaAllah, I'm just joking, you guys. Here they are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Brothers were like, you're not going to stand for being so diligent, though. All right. Okay, but what can you do within the law? Someone give us a suggestion here. I'm going to be in jail by myself. Somebody else. Yes, sir?
What he says, Muhammad ﷺ is this. Yeah, proof.
Okay.
They say he was a pedophile. Okay. Where did you hear this? Can you explain?
Good. So, you might try to question. Now, that might work if that person genuinely believed that and he was telling you that. Now, it might not work if the person just wants to insult and get you all riled up. Yes, sir?
It's actually from the human rights, the human resource rights, that you are allowed to, there are some, you can attack because it's freedom of speech, but then there's speech of hate. They cross the line.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be charged for attacking them.
Is that right?
From what I know, from what I studied.
Okay.